What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another transfer update video. Today, we'll be looking at the latest headline news coming out of Arsenal as Alexander Lacazette has left Arsenal Football Club on a free transfer. He will rejoin his previous club, Lyon, in France. And I want to know your thoughts and feelings on that, people. Before we get into the video, make sure you continue to support, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've been getting fantastic numbers on these videos. It's something I'm going to continue to do over the summer with the transfer window. And obviously, we'll still be back to the streams over the next few days as well. But I will be doing a lot of this short content as well. Hope you're all having a great weekend. And let's talk Arsenal, people. Let's talk Arsenal. Alexander Lacazette has left Arsenal Football Club on a free transfer. Arsenal have announced that Lacazette's contract will be allowed to expire and he will leave the club at the end of June, people. He will rejoin his previous club, Lyon, who Arsenal, ironically, paid £50 million to bring him to the football club. We're now letting him go back there on a free. It's the Arsenal way, buy high, sell cheap. We just haven't seemed to have figured this out yet, people, how you actually do transfer business. But let's go through what Lacazette had to say. He put out quite a heartfelt letter to the fans after leaving the football club. I'm not going to read all of it as it's quite long, but we're just going to read the end part of it here. He said, I want to say thank you, a big thank you, because there was a lot of expectations from me when I signed and the welcome was amazing for me. I felt straight away comfortable to play for the team, and during my 5 years, it's been amazing with fans in the stadium. Thank you for the song as well. I've never talked about it, but it really touched me a lot, and a big thank you for everything. I'll keep in contact with my teammates, the coaches, and with the club. I've supported Arsenal since I was young, so obviously I'm going to keep supporting them. I know I will come back to the stadium as well. Like we say, once a gunner, always a gunner. Big up to Lacazette, big up to Lacazette. Listen, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about Lacazette. I would say one thing that I really like about this guy, I've never been and watched Arsenal and felt like he's not giving you everything. I've never felt like he's walked off a pitch without giving you everything. Now, I think we all know there's been times where I haven't really been happy with what he's been given. I think about the Lacazette. Yeah, well, we won't go over that one. But you remember the certain things I said about Lacazette on a few watch-alongs at times. I've been frustrated with his lack of goal-scoring ability. But I can't forget these times on the background. What a game this was. Valencia away, the ice-cold celebration, him and Aubameyang, what a partnership those two had. I genuinely think Lacazette needed Aubameyang to get the best out of him because it took the goal-scoring pressure away from him. And I think Lacazette, who for me was a bit of a goal machine in France, wasn't able to transmit that in the Premier League. And I think it helped him having a striker that took the goal pressure away from him. Let's talk about some of his best moments. Slavia Prague had just been done for racially abusing a player against Rangers. We went there. Slavia refused to take the knee. Lacazette took the knee. Fist in the air, proud moment, very strong, powerful footballing moment. Some fantastic goals in the North London derby, that celebration where he stood there at the clock end, scored a banger at their ground as well. His free kick in the Europa League away at Napoli. He scored some big goals against Liverpool, the one where he whipped it round Alisson. Listen, he's had some fantastic moments, if we're being honest. I would say overall that Lacazette has been a decent signing. I couldn't go much further than that, if I'm being honest, because let's be real, we signed him as an upgrade on Olivier Giroud, and I would say that Lacazette hasn't been better than Olivier Giroud. I think they're pretty much the same level, and that is the problem. Let's go through some of his stats, and I want you to let me know in the comments, people. I hope you don't think I'm being harsh here. Would you say Lacazette has been a hit or a miss at Arsenal as a striker? This is a guy we paid £50 million for back in 2017. This is when 50 million was probably the equivalent of 80 million now, with the way the market has gone. First season at the football club, signed in 2017 by Arsene Wenger. We'd been linked with him for years. He was actually signing for Atletico. They had the transfer ban. 32 games, 14 goals, 4 assists. In most of them games, Wenger would take him off. 70 minutes, 75 minutes, he was dragged. Giroud would come on for him. Also, in that January, we went and signed Aubameyang, which already I thought, well, you've just spent 50 on a striker. You're paying 56 for a new one, so clearly you're not happy with him. Although you could say Aubameyang was bought in to replace Sanchez, who left in that January. His second season, his best season at the club, wasn't his highest scoring in the league, but his highest scoring overall. 19 goals in all competition and 9 assists. 28 goal contribution, 13 goals in the Prem, 8 assists, and 6 goals and 1 assist in the Europa League. Led us to the final in Baku under Unai Emery. And him and Aubameyang, they played together in a tour a lot of that season. And that's why I think you saw the best of him that season. I think that responsibility was taken off his shoulders. Interesting that his 2 best seasons at the club under Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery. Sorry, Mikel, I'm not firing shots. I'm just speaking facts. Then he had half a season under Emery and Arteta, 10 goals, 4 assists, a decline in the goals. His first full season under Arteta, 13 goals, 2 assists. He was our top scorer in the Prem. Still not high enough, still not 15 goals. Certainly not 20. And then this season, his worst season at Arsenal in terms of goal scoring. 4 goals and 7 assists. I mean, Gabriel, our centre-back, scored 5 goals this season. Lacazette only managed to score 4 goals. And when you're on £180,000 a week and you're a £50 million striker, that is not acceptable. So for all the positives that I say about Lacazette, great personality in the dressing room, good leader, fantastic partnership with Aubameyang, gave everything, good around the youngsters, he's just not prolific enough. Now, I think he could have moulded himself into that kind of Bobby Firmino false 9 role. Probably not as good at it as Firmino, but I think he could have played that. The problem you've got, you don't have 2 wingers that get 15, 20, 25 goals a season like they do at Liverpool. And I think if we had wingers that scored more, you could have afforded Lacazette to get 10 to 15 goals. But because we don't have that, there's a higher expectation and demand from our front man to score goals. I want to know what you think, people. I've got to be honest, seeing Lacazette leave and what he said about the club, I'm a little bit sad that it didn't work out for him because I think he's a very good personality. I think he's a talented footballer. He's probably 6-7 goals short a season of what is required to be a top striker. You know, obviously this season, nowhere near good enough. If you get 10 to 15 goals, you're a good striker. If you get 20 to 25 goals, you're an elite striker. And that's this fine margin, 6 or 7 goals. He's just not quite at that level. For me, I would say he's been an okay signing. I wouldn't go beyond that. I don't think he's been necessarily an upgrade on Giroud. I think he's decent. I think he scored big goals in big games. He's had some purple patches where he scores, but then he doesn't score for the next month. So for me, Lacazette's a bit like, I think it's time to go. I think we should have probably sold him last summer and got some money for him. Again, bad business, 50 million signing, walks out the door for nothing. But one thing I want to say, all the best to Lacazette in the future. He'll go back to Lyon. Hopefully he scores goals in France. And listen, one thing I'll never take away from him is brilliant commitment to the cause. And you can see that he cares about the club. So good luck to Lacazette. Let me know in the comments, how good or bad a signing do you believe he has been? Lacazette leaves Arsenal on a free. So, who replaces him? I think we all know the name that we expect it to be, but the deal isn't done yet, and that is Gabriel Jesus, the Brazilian international who scored, ironically, the other night for Brazil. Brazil managed to beat South Korea 5-1, and Gabriel Jesus spoke to the press after the game where he was asked about his future. Gabriel Jesus, somebody pulled me up on this. Somebody messaged me and said, I'm from Brazil. His name's Gabriel Jesus, not Jesus. So Gabriel Jesus said after the game, I'm looking to see what's best for my career. From Tuesday, we'll see what is best and I will make a decision from there. I think he said he would make his announcement after Brazil had played their couple of international games. So hopefully we'll hear something Tuesday, maybe Wednesday regarding Gabriel Jesus' future. As I've said before, reports coming out of Brazil, ESPN, are that this deal is close to completion. All that they are negotiating is the price. Arsenal want to pay about 30 to 35. City want 40 to 45. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. For me, with a year left on his contract, 30-something million would be acceptable. He's 25. He's a Brazilian international. He's a multiple Premier League winner at Manchester City. And this is a market that lacks value when it comes to strikers. 40-odd million, I still think for a guy with a year left who doesn't start is too expensive. But we're in a weak position, and it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal end up paying a little bit more than what his value should be at this current moment. But I think this deal will get done. I've said it all along. I expect Gabriel Jesus to become an Arsenal player. Would you be happy with that? We spoke about it in more detail in the last video. Go and check that one out if you haven't already. I've said many times I want to see two new strikers come in. Him and Nketiah are too similar in that a little bit smaller, pressing striker, but not the most physical, not great in the air. But Gabriel Jesus looks as if he could be on his way to Arsenal. Hopefully we'll hear something on Tuesday if he makes this announcement. The next story, people. Where's the midfielder? We know we need a midfielder. We know it's likely to happen, but who is it going to be? We've been linked with Yuri Tielemans. Now, John Cross, who is a big capper when it comes to, some of these transfer stories. And he's come out in the Mirror and said, Arsenal are convinced they can complete a deal for Yuri Tielemans. The player is understood to still want a move to Arsenal despite them missing out on the Champions League, with Arsenal likely to offer around 25 million in the hope of sealing a bargain deal. Now, I personally think Leicester will want a little bit more for him. They're quite notorious for getting high transfer fees for players. Think about Chilwell and Harry Maguire. This one is a little bit different. He only has a year left on his contract. But listen, I've said many times, Tielemans is a good player. He's an upgrade on Xhaka and El Neni and Lokonga. He wouldn't be top of my list, but I would take him. Personally, I think Arsenal need two centre midfielders. I would love to see Arsenal get Tielemans and get Basuma. Basuma's court case, I believe, there's some sort of decision on that next week. So we'll see what happens there. But in terms of Tielemans, listen, as I've said before, we're not in a position to turn down good players, and these players are better than the players that we've got in those roles at the moment. He's better than Granit Xhaka, in my opinion. He's got a goal in him as well. Wouldn't be top of my list, but I would take him, people. Let me know in the comments. Would you take Tielemans? If not, who else would you take? Renato Sanchez is in talks with AC Milan. Aouar's available for 12.5 million. Basuma, obviously the court case is probably the thing that's stopping him getting a move. Ruben Neves, anyone else you can think of. Fabian Ruiz, let me know. If you would take Tielemans, let me know why. If not, who else would be your alternative? The other potential midfield alternative, people, is Zinchenko. Now, Zinchenko we were linked with. We spoke about it last week. He actually played in midfield for Ukraine the other day as they knocked out Scotland. And a lot of people were talking, could Arsenal sign him to play midfield? Now, I've said many times, if we sign Tielemans, then we sign Zinchenko because he can play left-back for Tierney. He can play centre-mid as well. I don't mind that. Now, according to reports, Manchester City being linked and are closing in on a move for Cucurella from Brighton as a new left-back. Zinchenko apparently wants first-team football. It's a World Cup year. And it's believed now Manchester City might only want £25 million for Zinchenko. Now, if we sign Tielemans and then we sign Zinchenko as a left-back centre-mid, versatile player, I wouldn't mind that personally. I do think he has talent. But if you were signing him as your purely centre-mid signing, that for me isn't quite enough. I don't know if he's a specialist in midfield. I don't think he's better than people like Basuma. That's just purely my opinion. But if you're going to get Tielemans, and you got Zinchenko as well, I would take that. Just imagine if we could get Jesus for maybe 35, Tielemans for 35, and Zinchenko for maybe 25. You're talking, 95 million on 3 quality, experienced Premier League players. If you can balance that by selling a Bellerin, a Torreira, your Guendouzi's, your Mavropanos, you might get 20, 30 million back on those guys all of a sudden. you haven't spent that much and you've got 3 decent players in. You can go and get maybe 2 or 3 more. So let me know what you think surrounding those transfer stories, people. One final article coming out of The Athletic talking about our backup fullbacks. The first bit, Arsenal have discussed the possibility of sending Nuno Tavares out on loan to aid his development. That could create a vacancy at left back, but a move could be delayed until January after the Europa League group stages. So, on Nuno Tavares, me personally, I don't think he's good enough at the moment to play for Arsenal, especially when we've got a very injury-prone left back in Kieran Tierney. Now, I would say Tavares does have some talent, but he plays with a kind of immaturity about his game. And that, I think, he will only gain by playing regular first-team football. So Arsenal are probably looking at it saying, give him the Europa League group stage. We're top seeds. We should get a reasonable group. Go through it quite easy. He can get 6 Europa League games, few Carabao Cup, few games in the Prem. Get him maybe 15 games till January. Then you loan him out and let him go and get game time somewhere else. We sign a left back to go and challenge Kieran Tierney. That, for me, is pretty good. I agree with that. The next part of the story is the bit that I don't agree with. Arsenal apparently are going to stick with Cedric. So they are saying at right back, Arsenal are content with their options. Tomiyasu is the established first choice, and the coaching staff value the work of Cedric as his understudy. Upgrading in this position is not a priority. Now, that is something I don't agree with personally. I don't rate Cedric. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't think he's taken Arsenal anywhere in particular. And I would have liked to have seen Arsenal go and get a more attacking fullback to maybe come in and work alongside Tomiyasu. I think Tomiyasu's a very good fullback, but I think the likes of Jed Spence could be available for around 15 million. Max Aarons, 20 million. If you want to spend a bit more, you know, maybe Tariq Lamptey from Brighton, a very good attacking fullback as well. Cedric, for me, is just a meaty squad player. And because Tomiyasu's been injury-prone in this first season, what I don't want to see is a situation where Cedric is being relied upon for long periods of time. I personally would have let him go. I'm actually going to do a transfer video, sell or keep, later on next week. So look out for that and get involved in that one. So, yeah, Cedric likely to stay at the club. You know, things like they value the work of Cedric. You know, he's probably good on the training ground, good attitude, doesn't mind sitting on the bench. He'll pick up his 70 grand a week. We know what it is at Arsenal, man. If you're a good guy and you're quiet and you're nice, they'll look after you, I'm afraid. But listen, not the end of the world, but I would have upgraded him personally. Let me know in the comments what you think about what we've spoken about today, people. Lacazette leaves. He's on his way back to Lyon. Success or... I don't want to say failure. Would you say he's been a hit or a miss? Or is the truth somewhere in the middle? I would say the truth is somewhere in the middle. But I do think for £50 million, we haven't seen the best of him when you look at the numbers he was getting in the French league. But I think this picture here is probably when he was at his best. You know, ice-cold celebration, playing in a 2 with another striker who took the goal pressure off him. Let me know what you think about Lacazette. Talk to me about Gabriel Jesus. Looks like he could be joining Arsenal. Hopefully we hear a decision by Tuesday. Yuri Tielemans, John Cross saying that Arsenal are confident a deal will be tied up in the next week or so. Would you be happy with him? Do you think we need 2 centre mids? Zinchenko being linked as well. What do you think about him? And also the news that we're probably going to keep Cedric as our backup right back next season. What do you think about that? I would have liked to have seen an upgrade, somebody a bit more attacking to work alongside Tomiyasu. Let me know what you think, people. Make sure you like the video, subscribe as well. Brilliant support. Let's hit 50k soon. Get in those comments. Let me know what you think about Lacazette. Good luck to him as he leaves the club on a free transfer, and I will see you all tomorrow, people. Take care and have a great weekend. Bless.